parents, the next few videos are going to be about reading and the importance of reading. And you always hear teachers talk about why it's so important to read. And so I want to explain sort of why that is, number one, and number two, talk about some like words that you'll see on like the report card for your student, and you'll hear in your parent-teacher conference that'll come up in November, in case there are words that you're not clear about, and it might just help you with your understanding a little bit of how to help your child with reading and the importance of it. So here are just some stats in case you haven't seen these. You might know these as well, but I just wanted to throw them out there. We've got child A, child B, child C, and they all read a different number of days. So child A is reading 20 minutes a day, child B 5 minutes a day, and these are school days, and child C 1 minute a day. So if child A reads 20 minutes each school day, or in the afternoon at home or wherever, they're reading 3,600 minutes a year. That's not including weekends. If 5 minutes a day, they're doing 900 minutes a year, and child C is 180 minutes a year. So already you see the giant discrepancy there with just 20 minutes a day of reading. Here, look at how many words they're getting. They're getting 1,800,000 words if they're reading 20 minutes a day, as opposed to 282,000 words a day or just 8,000 words a day. So you can imagine, if you start thinking about that, the difference that makes in just their overall learning, right? And then here, this is how they generally do on tests comparatively. If they're reading 20 minutes a day, they usually do in the 90th percentile or higher. Child B is in the 50th percentile or higher, and child C is in the 10th percentile or higher. So already about that, you see that if your child's not reading at least 20 minutes a day, they're already at a disadvantage in terms of their overall school success, right? Because we know how important reading is for them to be really successful academically. They learn more vocabulary that way. They can it's just easier for them to they're not going to be decoding as much, and I'll explain what that means in another video. But it's just they're going to be able to read stuff and then apply that knowledge to whatever they're learning in their school day. So so it is really imperative, and one of the most important things we can do for our kids is helping them, supporting their reading at home, especially. They read during the school day, hopefully too, but at home it's a little more controlled, right? It's just probably you and your child, or maybe a couple siblings, and it doesn't have to be just them just reading to you. Like with the minutes this way, that's the way these numbers might work. But the other thing you might want to think about is you can read with them. You can take turns with them. If it's really hard for them to read, there's that reading at their own level and then reading at other levels. And so you can ask the teacher what level theirs is. And often you can, like if you go to the public library, you buy books online, or if you're just like reading books on Epic or something, which is an app that has a lot of children's books. You can find out what your child's independent reading level is, and that's where they could be doing their 20 minutes a day on that. And then you can read otherwise with them. You can read higher level books that they're excited about hearing about, right? And then you can, a lot of times, like especially when they're in the early reader books, the stories aren't super exciting, right? So this way you can read chapter books that have like more character development and plot development and conflict. And then it's a shared reading together that a lot of times it's sort of just that extra cozy, nice time at home together that the kids look forward to, and then you start to look forward to too, because it's fun. And there are tons of great books out there that fall into that category. And even with young kids, you can read pretty high level chapter books with them, and they can often understand it. You might want to read for appropriateness, and there might be things in there that you don't want to have a chat with them about yet. So you might want to read ahead on those to make sure that that you're okay with all the content. But it's often good for them to hear higher level books when they're younger. And then, when they're doing their 20 minutes, they can be reading at their own level, whatever that is. All right. All right. I will be doing more to try to help explain what all the words mean, because it is a little tricky sometimes at parent-teacher conferences what they're talking about. So we'll talk about that more. But in the meantime, see if you can encourage your kids to read 20 minutes a day. It could be in the car if they don't get car sick. It could be sitting at the table in the kitchen while you're making dinner at night. It doesn't have to be sitting quietly right away when they get home from school. Like, they might not be ready to do that yet. But if you can figure out a way, and maybe break it into parts, maybe 20 minutes is too long for them in one sitting. Maybe they do 10 minutes, a little bit after they get home from school, and then 10 minutes before they go to bed or something like that. It doesn't have to be all in one sitting. So you do it how it works for your family. But okay, great. Thank you.